So I'm sure that most of you know that DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, is just a fancy way of saying what makes you, you. DNA determines what you look like, what you act like, and how your body functions. DNA is a double-stranded double helix, which looks like a twisted ladder.
Nucleic acids like DNA are made up of nucleotides. These nucleotides are each made up of a 5-carbon sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. The sugar in DNA is deoxyribose. There are 4 different nitrogenous bases that a DNA nucleotide can contain:
adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Nitrogenous bases are like the secret language that you and your best friend made up. I say adenine, I expect a response of thymine. I say cytosine, I get guanine back, and vice versa. That's because adenine and thymine fit together like a puzzle, as do cytosine and guanine. These nitrogenous bases are held together by weak hydrogen bonds. To understand protein production, we also need to understand RNA.
RNA is similar to DNA, except it has the sugar ribose instead of deoxyribose, it is single-stranded, and it contains the nitrogenous base uracil instead of thymine.
So, uracil pairs with adenine. Now, let's talk about protein production. Protein production starts out in the nucleus.
The DNA double helix unzips so that it forms 2 individual strands of nucleotides. A special type of RNA called mRNA transcribes the information on one of those 2 strands that acts as a template, forming the complementary strand. Not surprisingly, this process is called transcription. Each group of 3 nitrogenous base pairs of the mRNA is called a codon.
Now, the mRNA, or messenger RNA, carries the information that it gained from that strand of DNA and brings it to an organelle called the ribosome.
The mRNA lines up at the ribosome. As each codon lines up to the ribosome, it is read per se by the ribosome. Now we need another type of RNA, tRNA, or transfer RNA, to help us with our next process, which is translation. This tRNA takes amino acids which have been obtained through digestion of foods that contain proteins, which are floating about in the cell. It chooses the proper amino acid for the mRNA code that it read and brings it to the ribosome to be linked. The long chain of amino acids that is being formed is called a polypeptide, which is just a super fancy name for protein.
Now, let's see what our sequence of genes coded for.
Phenylalanine, lysine, and glutamic acid. Now let's go back to that original template strand of DNA for just a moment. We were missing one vital piece of the protein puzzle here. This is the stop codon. It tells the tRNA and ribosome when to stop producing this particular polypeptide and cut off the chain.
Presto! Our genes coded for this cat's black fur. If this cat had a slightly different sequence of nucleic acids in that original DNA, it could have ended up with a protein for blue fur. That's all for today, friends.